The world is old and the powers are weary. The god at the door of night has fallen, and the great enemy of the world has come back from the timeless void. The shadow has awakened the great evils to regain dominion over Ardar. Darkness shall cover the land, if not of the deeds of a small fellowship of elf friends. Join the players of this Dungeons & Dragons campaign as they fulfill the events of the Dark or Daggeroth prophecy and strive with Morgoth on the plains of Valinor. Welcome to the Undying Lands in Part 3 of the Inglorion Bastards trilogy, Trials of the Valor.
All right, guys. So you are back in Ilmarin.
The largest dragon was killed by such a small creature.
Ooh, I like it.
It's poetic. I don't know.
Pretty awesome.
Let me show you what some of these people look like. I haven't been doing that very well. So here,
Also, don't forget we grabbed the body of
Arien or Eärendil, yeah. Here's Tilion. So this was the guy that was sort of escorting the moon across the sky. This was Eönwë when you met him in the pass, and he dragged Tilion back to Ilmarin, or teleported him. And then this is Eärendil, the half-elven.
or like the dead.
And then I don't know if I showed you Ingwe, but he is your kind of your tour guide here. He's the one that's been telling you about everything. So you have the dead body of Eärendil, Arien, and Tilion is actually standing up near Vanya and Ulmo. Vanya is the one that you just freed. She was actually the Valar of Okran, the bard character that passed away. And this was her trial that you did. And she's kind of like moving around now, and she comes up and thanks you for what you've done. And Eönwë would be there as well. So he is very happy to see Arien, but obviously doesn't get very close to her. And so I guess now, before we start kind of the next part of this, you probably want to do some heals. I don't know if you want to do like a full heal or a short.
Like a full heal is definitely the move.
Okay.
Yeah, is it like a full rest, you mean?
Yep, like a long rest or a short rest.
Yeah, long rest, yeah.
We don't need rests. We're men. We're pretty good.
Tesoro just survived a nuclear explosion, so.
Yeah, you guys see Tesoro come through the portal, and he's like black and charred.
Yeah, I've been there freaking something. I'm like, holy shit.
That's why I like him getting blasted through the portal.
Yeah, so that'd be funny. Like Tesoro comes shooting through the portal, like slams on the floor, skids to a stop, and is like, oh my god. He does a little roll at the end like he used to. Barrel roll. That was his signature move. All right, so if you guys want to do some heals,
Yeah, let's take a good old rest. How do we do that?
so I have the next part of this sort of planned out. If you guys have time still.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, let's do it.
So as you guys are sort of doing this and getting all your spell slots back and all of your heals back, Eönwë would come up to each of you and say, he would look at each of you and study you, and his eyes would affix on Ezellendur. And it seems like he was studying each of you, and he says each of you have a part to play in the grand battle. And he says, for your bravery, Ezellendur, finding where Arien laid, and sort of granting speed to those around you, I believe this is your part to play in it. And he says, I told you that I would be eternally indebted to you for those if you went to save Arien. So you see him like he comes in and he embraces Ezellendur, and you see him kind of like phase out, and kind of like a similar thing that you saw with Turin, what happened to Eärendil. Same thing that's kind of happening to Ezellendur. And Ezellendur, you now have these boons. Let's see here. So as soon as Eönwë disappears, Ingwe would say, "Hail the Avatar of Eönwë," and they're talking about Ezellendur. You are granted the fly speed at twice your normal movement speed. Yeah.
Oh, I'm always flying, like I'm hovering, is that the idea?
Not always. You're not hovering. You're not a hovering creature, but you can choose to fly.
Instead of looking something
Yep.
pretty cool. How many times can I knock back hose?
No, you just have the knockback feature.
Oh, so if I strike somebody with a melee or ranged weapon, they get knocked back. Is that the idea?
Correct.
Well, that's pretty freaking cool. Oh, that's neat.
And for you, Burn, for carrying the sun, you get a participation trophy.
For feeling up the sun.
No, you could ask him.
You, Baron, we say thank you.
He hinted that each of you have a part to play in this. So he seemed like he was studying each of you. And he was questioning who to bestow this boon on, and he chose Ezellendur. So if you want to
There's a purpose. No, there's a purpose. I believe.
if you want to ask somebody like why that might have happened, then you're welcome to.
Yeah, I'm curious. Why me?
Well,
Sassy doors, door top.
well, he told you what you did to earn it, but if you want to,
He went to save Arwen. Well, he was the first to find Arwen. And that he asked, and sort of those were like, here's the. I don't know.
I mean,
why did you?
well, Eönwë is not there anymore. But
He's inside of me.
yeah,
I like where this is going.
Well, he did say he was very excited that he...
He did give him an embrace.
well,
Eönwë gave it.
so Ingwe would say.
There was a thing in his pocket.
Ingwe would say that it according to the way he took it was that Eönwë could basically see each of your parts of and that maybe this was Ezelendur's part to play in this to become and again I'll read it to you.
Sure.
So Prophecy of Mondos Part 2 says, in that day Tulkas shall strive with Morgoth, and on his right hand shall be Eönwë, and on his left hand Turnbar. And this is describing the last battle. So, yeah. So, out of those 3 people so far, 2 are accounted for in a sense.
Wait, who's the guy who is in the middle?
Tulkas, he's one of the gods. I can't remember.
He's the god of wrestling.
Wrestling.
That's right.
The god of wrestling.
He's like the strongest of all the gods.
Right.
And
Probably gonna end up being burned then.
you never know. You guys have found out a little bit about Burn's part to play in the prophecy already. All right, is everybody healed?
Because I'm the.
Are we taking a long rest?
Isn't he supposed to be the incarnation of Durin?
Yeah, during the Deathless.
Yeah.
Taking a while. I do have to.
The OG dwarf. We have all 3 Summeralls now.
That is correct. So, well, actually, you have one Silmaril, and
No, I know, but...
We have like a Silmaril gauntlet we can put them in.
That's right.
But Morgoth had a crown that put all 3 Summeralls in it.
So if you want to give that to Ingwe, he will deliver it again like he did the second. All right. So you guys are here in Ilmarin, and Vanya would. We had talked about this already, but you guys essentially are choosing the next of the, and I'll share that with you as well. Let's see, it's under miscellaneous. I think it's called the Octagram of Ilmarin. Have you seen this before, Charlie? Did I show this to you?
I believe you did.
Okay, so you've completed the Trial of Irmo and the Trial of Vanya just now, and I believe you're taking on the Trial of Irmo. And by the way, the other name for Irmo is Lothlórien. And so you were thinking that you would try to go regain a Golden Mallorn nut from the Golden Forest in Lothlórien back on Middle Earth.
Just do it.
Yeah, that's a good plan.
I remember we were saying like we just have to pick up a nut and bring it. It feels like it's gonna be harder than that.
Yeah.
What could go wrong?
Does someone want to share?
The nut is attached to somebody's body.
Do we have like a picture that way we can show Galadriel and be like, we're looking for these nuts?
So if you ask about Galadriel,
Galadriel's not there anymore.
yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah, if you ask about Galadriel, they would say that she has sort of come home,
All right.
as have all of the elves, basically, except for maybe one.
I would imagine at this point, Lorien's just not doesn't have that same charm to it.
Yeah, who moved in after the elves left?
Well, the
The
power of her ring wasn't protecting that area anymore.
Yeah, right. That's what I'm saying.
So
Bad shit.
So it's probably just a normal forest.
right.
So there's a lore card here that I'll share with you, So you got this lore card back in the first part of the campaign. The Mallorn trees are similar to beech trees, and so as you're discussing this, I don't know if this sounds familiar to anybody, but think back to all of the descriptions that I've given you. This is not just a description of a tree that you saw in Lothlórien. Something else reminds you of the description. The leaves are green above and silver beneath. and clear gold in the autumn.
Is it a reference to like the two trees that started it all, sort of thing?
Yeah, yeah. Go ahead, Marco.
Yeah, so it's one of the two trees of light that gave the Anya their power on the light.
So the Mallorn trees are descendants of Lothlórien, one of the two trees. Just like the White Tree of Gondor was a descendant of Telperion, the other tree.
Okay.
Charlie, you were actually a good addition to the group, I think, when it comes to strategy.
Yeah.
Thank you. Back on Middle Earth.
All right, so you guys, you come out of the portal. Let me put the portal back on the map here. You appear back in Lothlórien, hence the Lothlórien music that you hopefully heard. I don't know if it's still playing, but it should be. The difference, though, when you get here, you're let's see, who would notice this? So, Ezellendur, you've been to Lothlórien. You set up camp on the other side of the Misty Mountains, but you've definitely been over here. Byrne, you walked through here. Tesoro, you've been through here, and Eärendil has also been through here. And the first thing that stands out to you all is that there are no Mallorn trees.
What?
That all of the Mallorn trees are dead and gone, and you
Meant to be a problem.
Told you something moved in.
and you obviously there are no elves. It's lacking that sort of that magical feeling that you know this the.
There's no way we're just gonna walk in here, collect the nut, and leave without problems. That's what
Do you think Galadriel would bring a nut with her?
You would think so, right?
She just forgot it.
Did she give Sam one, or did she just give him soil? Can't remember.
Oh, she did give him something, didn't she?
I think it was just soil, though.
Oil.
She gave Gimli like her hair.
Yeah, no, she gave Sam a plant of some sort.
Right, so are we going to address the Arwen in the room? So one of those things where like we don't really see him.
The girl,
It's a girl.
Arwen.
Yeah, Arwen.
It's the same Arwen. That's
Oh, it is.
Did she die?
no, she died.
Oh, she didn't die.
She's in that one.
The year is 4th age 211. And again, and it fits perfectly into our timeline, but this is actually canon as well. So you come back to Lothlórien, and as you're walking through the woods, just searching for a Mallorn tree, you come to a place that I don't know if any of you would know. I think Eärendil would probably know some of the place names. But you come to a place called Cerin Amroth, which is it's the Hill of Amroth, who was an elven leader, and up on top of the hill you'd sort of see like an aged Arwen. Hey.
Computer died, and I missed all of that.
Yeah, it's cool. We said we did that.
Arwen's old.
So you.
Oh yeah, she's really old.
Yeah, so you are wandering through Lothlórien, looking for any sign of a Golden Mallorn tree, and you come to a place that you remember was called Cerin Amroth, named after. It's basically a hill named after one of the elves, Amroth, and on top of the hill you see movement, and then someone that you recognize, and that's you can move your tokens over to Arwen if you'd like. So you see sort of an aged Arwen.
And I would know her, right?
Yeah. And Byrne has met her.
Is she like human now? Didn't she like choose like a mortal life?
Oh, that was just in the movie.
Oh.
That was like some weird movie bullshit.
Oh, okay. Well,
Not necessarily. She basically forsook the light of her people, right? To go to the Undying Lands. I mean, she's not human, but she's
not an immortal anymore?
She's not an immortal.
No.
She and so she would greet you. She greets. She recognizes Byrne because Byrne's actually been to Rivendell, and probably Eärendil too. So she would greet both of you as old friends, and say that her king has just passed. Aragorn. Yeah.
Well,
he died of old age, and his son took the throne. But she says that it's her time to sort of pass on, and that she came back here to the place where they were engaged, Cerin Amroth, and this is where she's going to sort of fade away.
wait, was Aragorn's son her son too?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So is the kid like half elf or no?
Not one.
But elves aren't really a thing anymore, or
Yeah.
they are, or sort of.
Yeah, I think he's whatever he is, he's part Dunedain, right? So
Yeah.
he would live a long life.
When did Aragorn die?
a long time. He was like I think he was like 70 or 90 or something when we knew him in Lord of the Rings.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
87.
Yeah. And he was so that was in the Third Age, sort of the end of the Third Age. And then he died in 210 in the Fourth Age.
197 or something.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
And so she just tells you all of this. You can ask her anything if you'd like. I mean, you've seen no sign of a Mallorn tree.
Well, I guess that just hits Eärendil. Sort of realizes how much time passed. Yeah. The last time he talked to Aragorn, he was talking about helping Aragorn fight Avatar, right?
That's right, and he has a very special connection to Aragorn, right?
Yeah.
Want to tell Charlie what? You remind the others.
Previously, my family and I was tasked with protecting the royal line, like Aragorn's line, teaching them how to survive in the wild. I think it was, I can't remember if my grandfather and mother died.
Yeah, so it was your grandfather.
Died protecting Aragorn's grandfather or his son. I don't remember which.
Yeah. So
they all their names started.
Yeah. So Arathorn was Aragorn's father, and his grandfather had a different name. I forget, but he died sort of north of Rivendell in the mountains. He was killed by a troll, like a mountain troll, and Eärendil's grandfather would have also been killed in that fight. And at one point, Eärendil bumped into Aragorn, and because of all the things that he had been doing, he was given a special title. Do you remember what the title was?
Thingol. So I'm sad that Aragorn's passed, but I'm glad that he lived a full life and that his son's still ruling the kingdom of the reunited kingdom.
That's right. Yeah.
Where the Mallorns at?
Oh, she says.
Firm but reassuring pat on the back to Fairy.
So she would say, so you seek the Mallorn tree, which has been gone for a very long time since the passing of my kin. She says, why do you seek this tree? She says
to restore the light of it's not Telperi, the other one, right?
Lothlórien.
Lothlórien.
She says that's impossible. The Silmarils have been missing for.
What if I told you maybe they're not so missing anymore?
Well, she gets a big smile on her face, and you see her face filled with hope. And she says, well, if that is the case, then I'm afraid. And she looks like she's going to deliver some bad news, and then her eyes fall upon Tesoro. And she comes up to Tesoro, and she kind of like puts her hands on his cloak and turns him around. And as she touches the cloak, you see like the silver and green in the cloak turn gold around her fingers.
Oh, am I in the tree? Gotta get my nuts.
Tesoro, we need one of your nuts. Please don't tell me you need the seed of Tesoro.
Ow.
Well, the really funny part about that is Lothlórien is sort of the female tree. So remember, Tesoro is turning into a tree very slowly.
Yes, I am.
And your cloak has undergone several changes. I think the last time I alluded to this, you were in Aqualunde, right on the shore of Amman. It was in the second campaign, and you were talking to the king of the Teleri, and he mentioned that your cloak was sort of changing color, and it reminded him of a certain tree. Arwen would say there is still hope as long as Tesoro is alive, and she.
I'm really glad you got that kid. It almost just died.
That was so long.
She says that she meant.
Tesoro's like, I'll deliver the final blow. There's nothing more I can add to this part.
Well, all of you have a part to play in this, she says, and I will share something with you very quickly before I ask you to read a lore card. So take a look at this, Circles of the World, and there's a lot of information on here, but in the top circle, if you could sort of just take a look at what's inside of the pink is basically the lands of Middle Earth, right? On the left, you have Amman, where the gods live. On the right, you have a bunch of lands that really none of the Lord of the Rings books really touch on very much. In the center, so you're really, the land that you're familiar with is sort of north central. Right. But if you look up, the Inglorions there, yeah. So this was before the world was broken. Oh, actually, this might actually be, this is before the world was broken.
Yeah, first stage.
So you see where Taniquetil is on the left. That's the mountain where Ilmarin is. To the north of that, you see how the white sort of connects over there to the central landmass. That's the white. That's the icy area that you just were in. And above that, there's a line that sort of traverses east and west. It's called the Olórë Mallë, and it's the Path of Dreams. I don't know. Do you guys remember me talking about that at all?
Kind of.
When we were talking about the ways to get to Tol Eressëa, so you remember some of you took a boat. One of you was teleported through a portal of your own creation. But you remember Okryn's character actually traveled the Path of Dreams because he was a Maiar. He was able to do that. If you could look in your lore current session, Olórë Mallë. Someone want to read that?
I got it. The only path that the Atani human people can travel to see the Blessed Realm. Young children often awoke in the cottage of Osplay,
which was on Tol Eressëa, and Eärendil actually did that as a child. So it's kind of like a portal between Middle Earth and the Blessed Realm. And Arwen would tell you that the portal that you've been using from Ilmarin uses the Olórë Mallë, the Path of Dreams. And she would tell you that there are guardians that surround the Path of Dreams that she refers to as the great glowworms. She also, as she's telling you about them, she refers to them as like spark dragons or light drakes. She uses all three terms synonymously. All of this is canon, by the way. So does somebody want to read the great glowworms, and that will sort of describe what she tells you about them?
Where is that found?
Also in the same place, current session.
Oh, great glowworms. Great glowworms are said to have crept about borders of Olórë Mallë, the Path of Dreams, often referred to as a spark dragon or light drake. These creatures feed off the energy of other living things, plant and animal. That energy feeds into their lifeblood or their venom. Beware this stinger attack. They have limited stinger attack.
So
Sounds like we're going to be fighting them.
I was going to say, it sounds like it's something we'll be facing him pretty soon.
well, when you ask her about that, she says that in addition to the living things that the great glowworms have been feeding off of, they fed off the light of the trees, and then the sort of the essence of the Golden Mallorns from Lothlórien for over 20,000 years between the two. And she says if you're looking for a way to, and she looks at Tesoro and she says, sorry to say, speed up the process, you would need the venom of the great glowworms.
Speed up the process of me becoming a tree.
She said you were seeking a Golden Mallorn. This is the only way.
Oh, shit.
Oh, man.
So like fucking tree, like a permanent tree, like a permanent like fixed tree, or like one of those walking trees as he is now, like an ant.
She says I've been away from my people for so long. There's no more that I can tell you. But perhaps the magic, or not the magic. She wouldn't say the magic. She would say the power of my people would be able, to help you once you get back to Ilmarin. She says, whatever you do, she says, if you want to encounter a glowworm, don't go straight through the portal, or she says, don't proceed through the portal. Go into the portal and then delay. And she says, you will be on the Path of Dreams. She says, but whatever you do not stray from the path.
Okay, so we have to go into the Path of Dreams, walk it, not stray. Tesoro is going to become a tree.
Not immediately.
But he will bring him back to God. They somehow circumcise this tree.
You guys following all of this?
He becomes a unicorn.
Charlie's actually summing it up pretty well.
Thank you.
So Laurelin and Telperion, right? Those were the two trees. There's a trial for each of them. You guys selected the golden tree, not the silver tree, and that's Laurelin. Its descendants were the Golden Mallorns, which were only found on Numenor, which is now has sunken under the ocean, and Lothlórien. You came to Lothlórien to find a nut, so that hopefully you could sort of not these nuts, but that nut, so that you could essentially maybe grow a sapling of a Laurelin descendant, and then use the light of the Silmaril to sort of recharge it. Except you got here and found out there were no more Golden Mallorn trees. Arwen just told you that really the only Mallorn that's left is growing sort of within and on Tesoro, and that it's taking a really long time. But if you need the tree, that the way that you would sort of fuel it, its growth and its progression, is to get the venom of the great glowworm, which it covets, and it's been sort of taking the energy from the Mallorns when they were alive for thousands of years, and so to take their venom back would sort of feed into your progress.
So would Tesoro be injecting this venom or just be collecting?
She said collect it. She didn't specify how, but she would tell you based on the lore card that you just read that these glowworms, they, like I said, they consider their venom to be their lifeblood. It kind of courses through them in some ways, but is most potent in their stinger, and it works a little bit like a baby snake, right? So baby snakes, they can't really control their venom. So if you get bit by a baby snake, in a lot of cases, the species, it will just like inject all of it. An adult snake will only inject some and save the rest for, subsequent attacks. And a lot of it depends on sort of the size and the age, right? And so the great glowworms work the same. They have a limited amount of stinger attacks, but it's not clear on any given attack whether it's going to use the stinger or how many stinger attacks it has. All right, so
what to do? Let's go to the Path of Dreams.
All right, and you've also found out that you've been traveling the Olórë Mallë. They've been sort of tapping into that as the pathway to all the places that you've gone. And her directions were to basically not step through, but to kind of like go into the portal and stay there. And then you'll be on the Path of Dreams. And she said she cautioned you to just whatever you do not step off the path. All right. So you guys gonna go follow her instructions?
Absolutely.
Let's do it.
Max?
Yes.
How do you feel about this?
My duty.
Oh, good lord.
Oh, wow, the music.
Oh, wow.
Oh, shit.
Oh, this is such
She
a
said
cool
don't step
map.
off the path. She really meant it, huh?
Though this marks the end of the episode, the road goes ever on. Until next time, join us at longwinded.one and consider giving us a review on Apple Music, Spotify, or really whichever platform you choose.